With over 8,000 plus graduates, Galvanize and Hack Reactor are leading the industry in data science and software engineering education. In this series, we interview students in depth on their educational journey. This is Decode, my coding bootcamp story.
Welcome to Decode, my coding bootcamp story. Today, we are interviewing Andrew Herrera, who graduated from our Hack Reactor Software Engineering Immersive program as part of our Operation Level Up at Fort Hood. So let's get started. Andrew, what was your background before you came to Galvanize?
Hey, Sam. So my background, before I came to Galvanize, I've been and have been serving in the military since 2008.
That's amazing. And you know, when you were getting ready to transition from the military, when you were looking at those different career skills programs, what made you choose software engineering?
Sam, I wanted to find something that was looking at the future ahead. After my years of service, I knew what I was currently doing in the military I didn't want to do in the outside civilian sector. And I love challenging myself. So I decided to go with something that was completely new. That was in pilot, actually, offered to us at Fort Hood.
So obviously really exciting, taking a pilot program for the first time. You know, after having a more than a decade in the military, are there any aspects of that military experience that helped you while you were learning software engineering?
Yes, Sam. So, adapting and overcoming was a huge part of the learning process. Learning how to learn, had to do that all over again, because I had to take each week in baby steps. I had zero background, coming into the program, and the instructors, the staff, even my cohort mates were like extremely helpful in providing this step for me to go forward.
And so getting a little bit more into that cohort, how did teamwork come into play while you were taking that software engineering program? Would you say you'd learn more individually, or would you say it helped to have a team as part of your cohort?
Teamwork had to be a huge success. Us working as a team, considering we didn't know each other, and although we have been on Fort Hood, we just never crossed paths. So working with a brand new set of guys in a class was kind of, it didn't seem different. It didn't seem awkward. It was kind of like, hey man, how you doing? Let's do this. All right. And we would sit down, learn some stuff, and go through the process.
Just out of curiosity, were there any points in the program where that teamwork element really helped?
Yes, because I say that during that process, we kind of humbled ourselves, and we had to learn that each of us had a weakness, and because we weren't great at everything, we weren't good at one thing. We were just okay at everything. And we were like, okay, well, let me take a step back. Help me out. I can be humble. Help me work through this problem because I don't understand it. And I guess that was a huge success because, realizing that you aren't great at something is okay. And people need to know that it's okay to ask for help. And for us, that got us a lot closer because we realized we leaned on each other towards the end of the program. And we're like, hey, at the end of the program, our project was kind of like, all right, hey, you're really good at this. I think you can handle it very well. And everybody we didn't think twice about our skills. And we were like, yeah, we knew you had this. So we leaned on each other and took a leap of faith. And we're like, hey, you're going to do this. And yeah, we ended up finishing our project very well.
That's amazing. So, I know you're still on active duty right now. Have you run into any challenges while you're in that process of looking for jobs?
So currently, yes. I am running into a challenge. My challenge right now is the timing. My timing's kind of off. So the hiring process has been like, okay, people are biting on my resume. They're interested in hiring a veteran with certain skill sets. Now that I've added coding into my bag of tricks, the timing's kind of been off. It's kind of like, hey, can you start immediately?
Yeah.
Thing is, I gotta do a process that's called, out processing the military, and I've got to go through clearing procedures. I've got to go through, my last appointments and, et cetera, to clear the post and make sure I'm taken care of on the VA side when I do finally say my goodbyes to the military.
And so how are you overcoming those challenges as you're moving through this transition?
At first, it was kind of depressing.
Yeah.
It felt like nobody was going to pick me up. Nobody was going to take me. And I kind of left it out of my cover sheets and resume of my ETS date because I didn't want that to immediately eliminate me from the hiring pool.
Of course.
So I decided, I was just kind of going to be upfront when I did my initial phone screens and my initial calls and interviews. And I kind of just let them know now that, hey, since I know that they are biting on my resume,
yeah,
kind of good thing. So like now I'm just kind of like, hey, well, if you still have that opening available, I'd be glad to hear back from them. And of course, I've got my own tracker letting me know like, hey, I'm going to check back with this company in a couple of months and see, hopefully that works out. And if they are still hiring, then I'd love to meet with them and the recruiters.
Of course. So, as somebody who's gone through this process and seeing it from start and almost to end, what advice would you have for other service members who are looking at career skills programs?
The advice I would have for them, you have to love what you do. I think that if there's a passion that you love, there's nothing that can stop you from your own success except yourself. The limits that you put on yourself are the ones that hold you back.
Yeah.
And I think that if any service member goes through any career skills program, whether it be shifting gears, hiring heroes make America, the different programs that we have and offer, I find they got to find what they love. And I think if they find that, love it, they won't have any problems succeeding after the service.
I think that's amazing advice. I think it's amazing advice for almost anybody.
Thanks.
Just diving into that a little bit deeper, after taking the software engineering program, would you recommend software engineering as a potential career path for other veterans and service members?
Yes, absolutely. I think that it's crazy. Doing a little bit of reading, I found out that 2.5 million veterans kind of make up the entrepreneurial pool in small businesses. And of those 2.5 million, some of the smaller companies hire veterans themselves. So we kind of network within ourselves, but realizing that, for any veteran that decides that they want to do something, start their own business, I think this would be kind of the start, learning the ins and outs of coding, kind of get your own website started. You don't have to pay somebody else to go do that. You can kind of do that yourself, work at your own pace. And 90% of businesses, I feel like they're started online or word of mouth. So, it's like, hey, have you heard my app before? Download it. This is what it's all about, So I think, I feel like with the way the world is going, everything's kind of going technology wise, relating to apps and, what's convenient for people. And there's always somebody out there that's innovative, that's up on the next design, that's up on the next hip thing and wants to make that happen. So yes, absolutely. I think, going into this, I do definitely recommend, software engineering as an out when service members are ETSing or close to retiring.
Well, Andrew, I think this has been amazing. And I just want to thank you so much for your time and your really amazing advice for other service members, military members, and just anybody who wants to take software engineering as a whole.
All right. Thanks so much, man. Appreciate you.
Thanks for joining us. This has been Decode, my coding bootcamp story. If you would like to know more about our programs, please visit galvanize.com or email us at admissions@galvanize.com.